Vossy, I'll tee us off because the Broncos opened the round with a comeback, a phenomenal comeback win against the Dogs, who led 18-0, 22-18 at the death. Ezra Mam, 3 try assists. But I want to go to the 10, 11, 12 and 13. Xavier Willison, Brendan Piakura, Jordan Ricky, Kobe Hetherington, fantastic in the second half. And, yeah, they scored, 4 tries, 13 minutes, and the Broncos are back after 4 straight wins.
Yes, and on the Bulldogs side of things, look, I know there's huge focus on Lachie Galvin, and I say it's just football, and he is a big story, so obviously that comes with the territory, but the Bulldogs as a collective, as a team, have to accept accountability for that collapse. Although it happens so often these days. It's not like back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s, if you had one game where a team come back from 12 down, you shut out games. These sort of comebacks happen all the time now, but Canterbury do have to have a look at it and say the last 20, we were bloody poor. Really poor.
We need to give Billy Walters a shout-out too, off the bench with great impact again. He's becoming quite the player to inject.
Raiders, Dragons, you want to highlight from the weekend? Well, Kyo Weeks gave us 2 of them. 2 solo tries. This is Kyo Weeks at his best, the Raiders fullback.
He might give you a second chance. He's beaten on the Dragons. He beat Jared Sutton. He's beaten everyone. They're chasing. Little was magnificent. Weeks has still got there for a hat-trick.
Great call. Kevin laughing
Sutton
in the background. He brushed
Jared
past
Sutton.
Jared Sutton.
That replay.
Yeah, that was like
Sutton looked left, looked right, looked left. It was like, where's he going? Which way is he going to go? And Weeks is stepping him all the way between how many Dragons touched him?
I'll get there eventually. I know Flano was frustrated by a forward pass that wasn't. The call was forward, but it wasn't, right?
Okay.
So they should have been given that try. But you can say to the Dragons, well, hang on, you had 7 blokes try to stop Kyo Weeks. 7 blokes made contact with him. The ref brushed him, so 8 humans, and he still got there. Kyo Weeks just brilliant in that game. And that's why I mean it. I think the Raiders are just must watch every week now. They've got such youth and excitement. Ethan Strange just delivers. I love Fogarty. You can go through every member of that Canberra team as a contributor.
Bench players. Adam Mariotta, he's played every game this year. When Paddy comes on, they all do a job. I thought Trey Mooney the other night, 3rd game for the year. I thought he was fantastic. Ball player. I'd never seen it before. Ricky is having his best year as a coach. I know he's won a premiership. I'm talking as a coach. He's always at his best because he's made any coach that makes individuals better, and they're all playing at their very best. I've never seen some of them play as good as they are. Can you tell me, was Simi Sasangi just a plotter?
That is the name.
With respect, a plotter? Had you seen anything? He's now a starter every week.
He was at Newcastle. Suffered a horrible injury at Newcastle, but was a fringe first grader. Now there he is, starting in the back row and delivering, singled out by Ricky Stewart last week, I think it was, as being just outstanding, one of our best players.
Now, Corey Horsburgh and Ricky had a falling out. They admit they didn't talk to each other. Now, they've mended whatever bridges are. Corey Horsburgh should be playing Origin.
Okay.
His form is good enough to be playing Origin. Should have been there from game 1. Ask Billy why he isn't.
Really quick game as part of our round in review. Give these players a score out of 10 for their season. Really quickly. Vossy, off you go. Kyo Weeks.
8 or 9.
Jed Stewart.
Jed Stewart, yeah. Well,
okay, Matt Timoko.
Timiko's... no, 7.5. Can get more out of Matt.
Seb Chris.
Good. Seb Chris is 9. He's having a superb
Xavier Savage.
Xavier Savage having a superb year. 9.
Ethan Strange.
9.
Jamal Fogarty.
8.5.
Corey Horsburgh.
10.
Tom Starling, 9 to 10.
9 to 10. Tom Starling, 10.
Tarpany.
10.
Sasangi.
8.
Hosking.
10.
Smithies.
Smithies 9. Got to try the
other night. And then the bench you'd give, 8 or 9 as well. So they're all consistent. They're all consistent.
Cowboys Storm, Saturday night. Cowboys Storm, full house, because they had the NRLW and the NRL and got the job done in the women's, not in the men's. Storm again. It's another win. It's 2 in the bank, but the Cowboys season, are you red felt penning them or not? They're only 3 points out of the 8, but are you going to red felt penning
them? Disappointingly, because I love watching the Cowboys, or have. And I know both sides were missing their Origin players, but you still expected North Queensland with Drinkwater at the back, with Clifford and Duffy in the halves. I expect much more from them. And the story for me was Nick Meaney and his move to fullback, the way he delivered. Again, they got a great team, the Storm. I know they're yet to really hit their straps, but
And
Good
while
team.
it was only 6 points the other night, the points differential against the Cowboys is minus 140. It's only one team with a.
But they have the
worse.
odd number of points.
That's
so
right.
the
The odd number of
differential,
points. The differential
is sort
won't
of
come into
irrelevant
play.
for them.
Yeah, if they get in, or it'll only be if they finish level with Penrith, who are the other team with the odd number of points. We move on to yesterday. Roosters Tigers, thoroughly enjoyable game to call. Historically, the Fainu brothers score 3 tries, first time since the Mortimers scored in the same game. Which is a long time ago. Latu Fainu, you caught up with Latu after the game on Fox League.
It was a good win because this win means a lot, not just for us, but for the fans and especially our coach. He's been through a lot, so this win, we just did it for him, so grateful.
All the Fainu brothers, all 3 of you got over for a try today. Has that happened before?
No, never. So cheering. Yeah, the family should be proud, so hopefully.
The family is proud. I thought it might have happened in the junior days, but no, it was the first time they'd done it in the NRL or as a junior. Now, back to Latu Fainu. As you know, those post-game interviews, they're tight. We get wrapped up pretty quickly. I was going to ask about the impact of having Benji sideline, being so animated. I didn't need to go there. He nominated that off his own from the first answer. We wanted to do it for the coach. He's been having a tough time. It was clear. It wasn't prompted or forced. He wanted to single Benji out.
Well, I love that. And Benji defiantly in the press conference said, did we use young players? Well, they didn't want to be here, so we only want players to stay at the club who want to be here.
Yeah.
So he actually, he was, we quite know that for some time, Lockie Galvin didn't want to be there. He's asked for multiple releases, but in the case of Talon De Silva, he's put a full stop on Talon De Silva's time at the Tigers by making that statement yesterday. We only want players who wanted to stay here. So whether it's local juniors or whatever, if you don't want to be here, don't.
You know what?
You can go.
In the media conference afterwards, Benji was defined. He wasn't asked directly about the week that's been, but he nominated himself and said, look, the stuff that's come out, as soon as it comes out, it then gets pounced on by different podcasts. It almost becomes self-generating.
Yep.
But he was clearly frustrated that what had been reported didn't actually, in his opinion, unfold like it had been reported. And the way the team performed, you can only say, well, that marries up with what Benji said.
Okay, and I'll give you 2 other takeaways. I thought Dewey was very good. I don't know what, I actually said in commentary, I thought the left side of the Tigers' attack actually worked better yesterday than with Luai there. But obviously Luai comes straight back into the team. But anyway, it's a situation for Benji to deal with where Dewey, I assume, just goes back to the centres. And also from the Roosters' point of view, Mark Nwanga Nitawase is one of the more fascinating players in our competition right now. Because he's got a mistake in him, quite obviously. He's got a mistake in him. He can drop a bomb. He can throw a loose pass and all that. But I can't look away when the ball's anywhere near him because something can happen that is that only he's like Latrell Mitchell might be able to in strength. Nwanga Nitawase is incredible.
How many times this season has he received the ball or had possession, about 20 out, and been well covered, yet at the end of the play, there he is in the in-goal scoring.
Well,
beat from a freakish kick,
beat 5
beating defenders with his strength.
He threw one of his skill sets, and I don't know whether I've seen too many players do this, and he sold a dummy yesterday, but not right to left or left to right. He did a flick pass dummy that the defence fell for because they know that he's capable of doing that and he's likely to throw a ball like that. In scoring his try, he threw a flick pass dummy that the defence fell for, and they had every reason to. He is an incredible talent. And can I also mention Daniel Tupou's bomb try in the first half where he caught it and came down with it. Bloody hell, it's a skill. Our winger, Xavier Savage on Saturday night and Tupou yesterday. Very good. Anyway,
and well done, Tommy Rodwell, Max McCarthy making their debuts for the Roosters. We glossed past the Melbourne Storm debutant.
Well done, Charlie Staines.
Yes.
Yesterday for the Tigers.
Sialangi Tuamalatu Brown also making his debut for the Storm on Saturday night.
Seagulls, Rabbitohs to finish. It's another win for Manly. They're now back in the 8. They're back in the 8. And this is the competition we have. You win 3 or so in a row and suddenly the sun shines and the sky's blue. They're back in the 8. Manly, with a bye next week, they're still going to be in the 8. What do you make of it?
Garrick double, Tom double. I love them as finishers. They still need this consistency, Manly, don't they? They need to win 3, 4, 5 in a row before you think, oh, hang on, maybe they can do something post-season. For me, the story was again South Sydney, 6 straight losses. As we mentioned, they've dropped 10 of their last 12. Brandon Smith injured, so that injury ward that's horrid already grows. And right now they're in a fight to avoid the spoon, which would be Wayne's first.
All right, they have their last bye just on the points differential of Manly. There are, if you look at the ladder, there are 4 teams on 20 points and points differential starts to come in. Dolphins have, one of the best in the league on 20. Seagulls next plus 58, then Roosters are plus 14 and Sharks are minus 4. That could come back to hurt the Sharks. Some of those big defeats. Now, quick wrap up on NRLW. You called half of the round on Fox League. What's your key takeaways? NRLW first round.
As a whole, I thought the girls turned on a real show. The second half yesterday, Roosters, Warriors fell a little flat with errors and it dragged on. But generally, I thought the standard, the skill, certainly the physicality. Boy, we saw some great shots. Isabella Waterman's shot in Canberra on Bobby Law. If you've missed that, try and find it because what a tackle. There was a couple of great tackles at GIO Stadium in the men and the women on Saturday. But I think the takeouts would be the Bulldogs, the expansion club winning on debut. Well done, girls. The Eels upsetting last year's grand finalists, Parramatta under Steve Georgalis. Really, really good. St George Illawarra, Indy Bostock, Jack's sister, scored 2 tries, almost 3. She was called back for her hat-trick. The Roosters, the reigning premiers. Plenty of room for improvement, but big winners against the other new club this year, the returning Warriors.
What cheeses you off most at the moment? Is it the player complaining that they've been the victim of a crusher tackle or a hip drop? Which one? Because it's quite obvious now that you feel any pressure on the back of your leg, you stay down. You stay down. Now, I'm not saying our athletes, they're not injured. Like in the case of Joe Tarpany the other night for Canberra, I'm not doubting that he felt pained because you watch a replay and Jaden Sewer has a leg between the legs of Joe Tarpany. So there's weight on the leg, but it's not a hip drop. I don't know why the bunker has to pile in. And because the player stays down, they say, it's dangerous contact. Well, no, it's just a tackle and an accident. It's a tackle. It's a tackle and an accident by Jaden Sewer. But the consequence of this one, player stays down, so that forces that gives, the bunker then intervenes when they don't have any, really, they should stay out of it. But anyway, they intervene. Their interpretation is it's dangerous contact. But the match review committee said later, no, that's not a hip drop. So where are we getting this wrong? It shouldn't have been a penalty, but because it was a penalty, Canberra also got, and player on report, Canberra got free interchange. Like that's right. That's a total stuff up of the system. That Annesley, calling him out, Graham, are you there? Explain how the match review committee see that as no charge. So it's not a hip drop. So what, dangerous contact, if an accident and you just happen to land on a bloke's leg, that might happen, I'll put a number on, that might happen 100 times a game. Really, but so it's not an illegal tackle, but we've penalised the bunker official using the same rule book as the match review committee. One sees it as penalty report and the match review committee say, no, it's not.
Nothing to see here.
Not. There's nothing to see here. Sewer, no charge. That is so wrong. That's such a problem with our game that the bunker really need to pull their socks up.
Well, let's throw the Matt Lodge tackle into it.
Well, okay,
and
Matt Lodge,
the match review committee will come out this morning.
Yep.
And again, that's not your classic. That's not your classic hip drop. So over the last few weeks, I've been saying we've come a long way from the tackles that saw the hip drop clamp down come, where Graham Annesley said, what is a hip drop? Well, I'll tell you. You grab, you twist, you lose your feet, and then you land with your hips, that's in brackets, it wasn't said, but it was implied, on the lower leg of the attacking player.
Yes.
Now, we've gone step by step away from that original description to now where if there's any sort of landing on leg that causes injury, you hear the shout of hip drop from the stand.
Yeah, that's right.
And you see it go on report, and sometimes, like we saw over the weekend, no charge.
Okay.
Will Matt Lodge be charged today?
This is it. Let's hear Wayne Bennett first of all. This is the Matt Lodge tackle on Brandon Smith. Bennett on the injury to Brandon Smith that'll see him out for 6 to 8 weeks.
He's done a medial ligament. He'll be 6 to 8 weeks from that tackle. Well, that's up to them to make a decision on it now, but we're not playing with a lot of luck, and we didn't get any there in that decision either.
You thought there was hip drop, did you think? Yeah.
Well, you make your own opinion on it.
But you seem frustrated.
Well, I'm frustrated by a lot of things right now, but it's not doing me any good.
Thank you, Wayne. Okay, you make your own judgment. Now, the match review committee will make its own judgment, and that wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
There was no penalty on time. There's no free interchange there. So if we end up with a situation later this morning, and Matty White will have it in his program, then we do have a problem. If in one game a bunker official intervenes and it's not a hip drop, the match review committee said not a hip drop, but you give penalty, you get free interchange, like that's wrong. And then in another game, poor bloke, serious. There was nothing wrong. Joe Tarpany returned to the match later. But in another game, no penalty, bloke out for 6 to 8 weeks, and you're going to charge Matt Lodge today.
So my gut instinct is that Matt Lodge will not be charged.
Yeah.
I'm sad to
But he
see
slides down. He
Brandon
does
Smith
slide
injured.
down.
Yes.
And land on the leg.
Does he lose his legs? Does he lose his feet?
He does. No, I don't think he does. And it's
it's
goal line defence
Yeah.
as well. Factor that in.
Yeah.
You know, Michael, doctors say a proper breakfast includes eggs, bacon, and breakfast with Vossy and Brandy. So get your daily fix through our socials and listen live on SEN Radio.